We're living in the golden age of gaming, where some of the best and most popular games are completely free to play. Not $70, not $30, but $0. Not a bad deal, and I'm sure you've played at least some of these popular free-to-play games, but I'm willing to bet you haven't played all of them, or maybe you haven't even heard of some of them. So today we're going to talk about some of the best games you can play right now for free. Let's start off with a category of games that's very near and dear to me, and that is the traditional FPS. This market recently got a lot of very competent free-to-play options. Delta Force is the new hot game. It feels like the first game to genuinely step on Battlefield's toes while also being able to back up some of its gusto with decent gameplay. It's entering an open beta phase this week, and it's going to offer a traditional Battlefield-like multiplayer and an extraction shooter. Eventually, it'll also have a Black Hawk Down campaign. Plus, it's going to be a multi-platform title with PC, console, and a mobile version. There's, of course, a big question mark with Delta Force, and that is its monetization. They're offering a lot of game for free, so we'll just have to see how rough those microtransactions end up being. And if Delta Force is the free version of Battlefield, then XDefiant is the free version of Call of Duty. 6v6, tight maps with plenty of flanking rats, deep weapon customization, a bunch of different modes. If it weren't for the characters being based on Ubisoft's IPs and Tom Clancy games like Splinter Cell, it'd be easy to mistake XDefiant as a Call of Duty game. It even has a similar feel when it comes to the core gameplay. It's an incredibly competent game that's giving COD a run for its money with a completely free-to-play option. Now those are kind of the heavy hitters from the bigger publishers, but if you're in the mood for something a little more indie, Polygon is another free-to-play title inspired by the classics. What it lacks in photorealistic visuals, it makes up for in great gameplay, good maps, and a healthy dose of indie charm. If you're looking for a more casual Battlefield experience, this is the game to check out. Now in my last year's free game video, I included the finals as an honorable mention because it wasn't officially released yet. This year, it has gone buck wild, delivering excellent gameplay and impressive DLC. This is a rare FPS game that feels like it's borrowing elements from games that I already love and is doing something fresh and innovative with them. It's got some of the best destruction I've ever seen in a video game, allowing you to demolish entire buildings piece by piece. It's also got tightly designed high-stakes game modes. It's dripping with premium-style substance, all while being a free-to-play title available on both PC and consoles. Now when it comes to the free tactical competitive FPS games, no one is doing it better than Valve or Riot. With Counter-Strike and Valorant both continuing to dominate the tactical FPS scene, Valve have been grinding away at shaping Counter-Strike 2 into the refined package that fans expect. They're not 100% there, nor will they probably ever be, but with the latest new map remake for the iconic Train, it's clear that they're close. In many ways, Counter-Strike has never been better than it is today. Likewise, Valorant seems to keep honing in on what makes it so great, but it's also made the leap to consoles this year to very positive reviews. Riot are even throwing down the gauntlet and are currently offering a $100,000 reward for anyone that can crack their Vanguard anti-cheat system. That's a big deal considering just how prevalent cheaters are, especially in competitive titles. Let's move on to some action RPGs. The longtime staple of the free-to-play space, Path of Exile is still going strong even today. A top-down hack-and-slash Diablo-esque style game with incredible depth and character customization. But it's finally getting a sequel that actually looks like it's going to do the original justice. It looks absolutely massive with incredible visuals. Path of Exile 2, however, will be an early access game with a paid entry fee. However, when it leaves early access, it will transition to the full free-to-play experience. In the meantime, if you really are looking to spend $0, the original is still fantastic. Now, Warframe, the third-person techno ninja shooter, is still going incredibly strong, and it now offers so much wealth of content for free. It's getting one of its biggest expansions ever later this month, Warframe 1999, which will include a ton of new gameplay-focused content like new maps, abilities, enemies, and more. Now, if you're looking for something with a little more of that Bungie flair, Destiny 2 is still chugging along despite some rough patches in the recent years. Your mileage may be more limited on the free version of the game, but if you haven't played it, it's a solid experience even without having to spend anything. Now moving into the MOBA realm, League of Legends and Dota 2 have been dominating this scene forever with their free-to-play games that keep getting more and more content. However, this year we've got a strong contender with Deadlock. It's an upcoming third-person shooter MOBA hybrid from Valve that is currently playable for free. You just need an invite from an existing player or Valve. That said, getting an invite seems to be fairly simple for most people, and Deadlock's emphasis on third-person shooting and movement mechanics has really set it apart from similar titles like Smite. Plus, it's got Valve's trademark, highly engrossing narrative and character designs. All that said, the game is still very early in development, so everything about it is constantly in flux. Of course, the traditional MOBAs like Dota 2 and League of Legends are still going strong if you're looking for a more tried and true game to spend an ungodly amount of time in. Now, the hero shooter genre might seem like it's in a dark place if you're following the news in the recent years. Overwatch 2's launch was one of the worst reviewed games in Steam's history, and competing titles like Concord couldn't even last 2 weeks on the market. But it seems like Marvel Rivals might have a real shot at becoming a staple. Early playtesting during the game's alpha and beta went well, with players reporting it as a competent and visually stunning hero shooter that leveraged the massive Marvel IP to great advantage. Tons of iconic Marvel characters are featured, all with great voice acting and gameplay focused on their strengths and weaknesses from the comics. That said, Overwatch 2's developers recently announced that they're experimenting with bringing back some core design elements from the original game, like 6v6 matches, and its popularity is still undeniable if you're looking for a great free-to-play experience. There's also hope that the long-standing free-to-play Team Fortress 2 might finally get the love from Valve that it needs. This year saw some good updates for the game that tried to address the game's rampant malicious bot and cheating issues. And the Team Fortress 2 community may have finally gotten that ball rolling after hand-delivering a petition of over 300,000 signatures to Valve's HQ asking the devs to save the game. And there's still a massive active player base for this game that came out way back in 2007. Now, free-to-play real-time strategy games feel like they're basically not a thing, but that's kind of changed thanks to Stormgate. If you're into StarCraft, this is basically a spiritual successor to Blizzard's iconic RTS franchise. And that's no coincidence. Several of Blizzard's RTS devs left the company to build the game. And being an early access title, it means that it's not feature complete yet, but assuming the devs can actually bring it across the finish line, it should shape up to be a really solid and free RTS. Now, I'll admit I'm a sucker for free-to-play competitive card games like Hearthstone and Marvel Snap. I think they're some of the best games you can play on a phone, but the free label for these games has to be taken with a grain of salt. And Marvel Rivals has been the hotness for a while. It brings some unique elements to deck building, like progression-based unlocks and upgrade systems that let you improve cards via gameplay. It's perfectly designed around really fast-moving matches that you can hop on for a few minutes, play a game, and hop off if you want to. Just be aware that the community is currently unhappy with how the game is monetized at higher levels. And similarly, Hearthstone is still alive and kicking, completely free, but your mileage is going to vary if you don't spend anything in the game. Now, of course, we can't mention free-to-play games without talking about battle royales. And in my opinion, it's hard to argue with one of the classics, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. This iconic game didn't start off free, but it's free now, and it's still getting a ton of updates with new content. But the big news for PUBG is that the devs are transitioning the game to Unreal Engine 5 in the future. That means a major visual overhaul and new community content creation system similar to Roblox or Fortnite's UEFN experience. PUBG could end up recapturing this genre all over again once user-made experiences start rolling out. Now, of course, Fortnite is still here and it's still a juggernaut, making some big changes with new tools in its Unreal Engine Fortnite experiences. Basically, Fortnite is turning into a anything game, and while the experience might not be insane at the moment, I'd imagine over the next years there's going to be quite a lot of new things to pick from. And then, of course, there's Warzone, Call of Duty's free-to-play battle royale, which just got a massive update that coincides with the release of Black Ops 6. So going into 2025, you can expect a ton of new content. And considering people are pretty happy with how Black Ops 6 has shaped up, there's hope that Warzone will experience a bit of that Black Ops 6 vibe as well. Now, talking about these next games, the free-to-play title requires massive quotation marks since they're some of the more heavily monetized free-to-play games around, but these military simulation games like War Thunder, World of Tanks, and World of Warships are some of the deepest and most engrossing vehicle combat games that you can find. They're very easy to get into, but offer nearly unlimited depth thanks to multiple modes of varying difficulties and an obscene number of vehicles that you can unlock and upgrade. Due to their massive financial success, the engines and visuals keep getting upgraded, so even if you jump on today for a game that came out quite a while ago, it's going to feel modern and look great. Now, of course, there's thousands of other top-tier free-to-play games, and I'd be curious what of those games you think should have made this list. Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop me a like, subscribe for more content like it, and ding that notification bell to beat the YouTube algorithm with me. Up next, check out this video on the best-looking games ever made. Some of them might be a little older than you think. As always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.